What's happening, Carolina fans? Welcome to Two Fans in the Stands, a podcast related to all things Carolina Panthers, North Carolina Tar Heels, and sports in general. I'm your co-host Tony.
And I'm your co-host CJ.
Let's go. So what's going on with you, CJ?
Everything's good, man. Looking forward to this season.
Oh man, tell me about it. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be happy or sad, but I'm hoping everything will play out pretty good in our favor.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be really, really interesting, but I just don't know if it's going to be good interesting, meh interesting or dumpster fire interesting. So we'll see.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I tell you what, we just had the 2022 Carolina Panthers draft picks. We had six in total, and I think we're going to start things off with the first round, six overall pick, Ikem Ikwanu out of NC State, offensive tackle, about 6'4", 310 pounds. They say 310 pounds, but I think he may be a little bit heavier than that. I would say about around about 320. But one of his those are one of his measurables, and he ran a 4.93 40-yard dash with a 29-inch vertical jump, and he had a 108-inch broad jump. Now, one thing that I like about Icky is he has a very nasty demeanor when it comes to an offensive lineman. Very physical, has very violent hands that he uses really well to bully defenders. Personally, right now, I think he's a better run blocker than he is a pass protector. I do want to see him grow in that one particular area, but I think overall, you want to see growth in his pass protection, and in his run blocking. But overall, I am more than excited that we selected an offensive tackle with the first round draft pick. I know me and you talked about this a while back, and we was talking about what the Carolina need, going into the draft and going into free agency. And we kept saying offensive line, offensive line, offensive line. If they didn't do nothing else, they needed to address the offensive line. Now, I never thought that Ikem Ekwonu would fall to number 6. I thought maybe he would probably be like the first or second offensive lineman to fall, and I definitely thought him and Evan Neal would be gone at number 6. So I was kind of thinking, okay, maybe we still get Charles Cross to be there, or even Trevor Penning. But when I saw that Ickham fell to us, man, hey, I can't even tell you how excited I was. So, I don't know about you, but I was like over the moon.
Man, let me tell you, I had to go pick up my kids from track practice
Right.
right as the draft started. So I saw the first couple picks and then I had to go. So I'm in the car and I got everything, playing through the Bluetooth on the speakers. And, you know, who was it? The Jets picked.
Uh-huh.
Um God, who had the picks
Sauce
before us?
Gardner.
Sauce Gardner went. It
Yeah.
was all defensive picks, I do believe, except for no, it was all yeah. It was
Yeah, it was all defensive
Walker,
picks.
Hutchinson, Sauce Gardner, Stingley, and then I think who was the
No,
other one that went?
Derek Stingley went third. Sauce Gardner
Derek
went
Stingley went
fourth.
third,
Yeah.
fourth.
And then
Thibodeau. Was it
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau
Thibodeau
to the
went, yeah,
Giants?
Thibodeau went
That's right, because
5.
they picked before us and after us. And I
Yeah,
was sitting there when Thibodeau went to the Giants, I was like, holy crap. And I was
yeah,
just pulling back into the driveway right before Carolina picked. And I can't lie, part of me was still sitting there thinking, like, okay, please don't mess this up. Like, we got our choice of the top 3, 4 offensive linemen. We could have had anybody. We could have had
yeah,
Ick. We could have had Evan Neal. We could have had Charles Cross. We could have had Trevor Penning. We had our pick of the
yep,
lot. And,
yep,
I can't lie. I thought that, for a while, I thought Panthers were going to mess this up by some kind of weird trade, trading the first pick to do this, that, and the third. But I'm not even gonna lie. My wife was like, they gonna get him. They gonna get him. I'm like, look, just hold on, stay quiet until they make the pick. Like they
Hey,
they
but
they
that's
got
the
a track
same thing I
record of
told you.
messing this up. Yeah,
That's the same thing
yeah,
I
but
told you. I was like, just be
I
patient,
know.
Daniel, son. Just be patient.
I know, but it's as a Panther fan, it's hard having patience with the team as of late. I'm always going to be a
Yeah.
dedicated fan, but patience runs thin with them at times. But let me tell you, when they announced Icky, I was like, you know what? Won't he do it?
Hey, I think I sent you a message and I was like, look at God.
Yeah, you did. You certainly did.
Yeah, I was like, man. But yeah, I'm glad that the board fell the way that they wanted to fall because I knew that when Sauce Gardner went to the Jets at number 4, so then I was like, okay, so we're gonna have if we was gonna either get Ikemikwanu or Evan Neal. I didn't know which one was gonna be available. I was like, okay, if the Giants take one, we got the other. But then they didn't take none. I was like, oh my God. When they took Thibodeau, I was like, yes, we definitely got the top cream of the crop, in my opinion. So I was like, I was over the moon happy. I was definitely over the moon happy about that pick. So let's go on to the third round pick, which was the 94th overall pick, and quarterback Matt Corral out of Ole Miss. Stands at 6'2", 210 pounds. He didn't have any combine results because he didn't throw it or do anything at the combine because he was still nursing his ankle injury that he suffered at the end of the season. But he is a 2-year starter at Ole Miss playing for Lane Kiffin. He's more of a mobile QB than a dual threat QB, even though you did see a lot of runs that were called for him in college. And he's a tough runner, but for his style of play, being as he's not afraid to take a hit. He's not afraid to mix it up. He needs to get a little bit stronger, a little bit bigger. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not really built to take the kind of punishment that he was taking at Ole Miss, and I definitely don't see him being that way in the NFL. Even I think Lamar Jackson needs to put on some weight to withstand the kind of punishment or kind of hits that he takes on a consistent basis. But he uh he has a compact release. That's one thing that I like about him. He is compact and it's quick. He gets the ball out fast, and he did a better job of protecting the ball his senior year. I think his junior year he threw like 13 interceptions, but his senior year he only threw 5. So I do see the upside in that in him. I was surprised that he fell to the third round. I was surprised that all the quarterbacks besides Kenny Pickett fell to the third round. But I knew that they wasn't top 10 or top 20 caliber type quarterbacks, regardless of the hype that was surrounding like Willis, out of Liberty, and they was talking about what's the other guy name? They was talking about Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, um, Matt Corral, um, the
I'm
guy
trying
at
to think of who the
Cincinnati,
other one was.
the quarterback out of
Oh,
Cincinnati to Atlanta.
oh God,
Um,
not Redding. I'm probably way off with his name.
it's
I know
something
who you're
like that
talking about.
though. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
know exactly what
but
you're talking about.
I knew none of those guys were like first round caliber type quarterbacks. The only one that I thought that can go
Ritter.
possibly, yeah, Ritter, Desmond Ritter. That's right. But the
Yep,
only
that's
one that I thought that could really go in the first round was Kenny Pickett, because I said all along that he was the most pro ready. You know, he was the one that if you had to, only if you had to throw him in the lineup right now, could he go in the lineup and play for you. And I'm not saying that your chances of winning would have been great or anything like that, but he's the only one that I think that you could have been comfortable with where he's at right now. And if you had to throw him out there, you could do that. These other quarterbacks, they didn't play in a pro style offense. They're not used to playing under center. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what kind of quarterback you're getting when it comes to their progressions, throwing with anticipation, all those things that's necessary to have at the next level. And the only one that had it, in my opinion, was Kenny Pickett. Now they all need development, but that's anybody, quarterback or whatever position that you play when you come into the league. Everybody needs more time to develop, some
hmm
more than others, especially playing at the quarterback position. But I'm excited to see uh where he goes. I mean, as far as what his career is going to look like with Carolina, I think he needs about a year or two, sitting the bench before there's any serious consideration for him to possibly be the starter. What
Yeah.
you
Now
think?
I don't mean to cut you off here, but I always said this QB draft was, kind of blah. And
Okay.
let this have been next year's draft with these same players, they probably would be, fourth, fifth, sixth round picks. And I felt so bad for Malik Willis because I'm not trying to down the man, in any way, but they had him, so hyped up, this, that, and the third. I knew without a doubt, he was not going to be taken in the first round. You know, I I I I felt bad for him. Like I said, this draft would have been next year with all the talent coming in.
Yeah.
Nobody would have been talking about him until later on in the later rounds. And I even think with Matt Corral, but with Corral, I do like his upside. I
Right.
I like his upside. I think he has potential. Like you said, he needs to sit a year, um, and learn. And I wouldn't, I go so far as to say that he might be starting in a couple years. It just depends. It it
Yeah, I
it
agree.
just depends.
I definitely agree with you on that. The thing that makes me mad the most is when you hear a lot of these so-called gurus, analysts, and they talk, and they always talk about the potential, the ceiling. And maybe it's just me, but I'm like, how big is a person's potential? Like how far how much do you think they're really going to grow from college to the pros? Like it's not that big of a difference in growth when you're talking about playing at the next level. Are you looking for growth? Yes. And I think a lot of times they put more emphasis on a person's potential than honestly just evaluating them just where they are. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, you're right.
it's one thing to say, okay, Matt Corral has the potential to be Brett Favre one day. Okay, but he may, it may, and that might be true. But the likelihood? The what is the reality of that happening? What we should be concerned with is where is he at right now, and what kind of quarterback are we getting right now, and can we develop that quarterback to the point to where in the next year or two that he could be a good enough quarterback for us. I just think that people put too much stock in talking about potential. To me, that word is overhyped, overused when you're trying to evaluate talent. That's why I always look at, my thing is, what you do on tape is the true measure of what a person is going to do at the next level. 99.9% of the time, that what you see is what you get. If you want to measure them, look at the competition that they play against. I.e., when you talk about Trevor Penny may be that dog. He may have that mean streak. Everybody see it in him. But what was the level of competition that he was doing all this against? Did he dominate that competition? If you're that good of a player, then you should have dominated everybody that you came in contact with, coming from a smaller school. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
I
So
I don't think you can, I don't think you got to throw potential all the way out of the equation. Okay, because my thing when it comes to potential, you got to look at where they were playing at, what team, what program. Say like the quarterbacks that have come out of Alabama pre Mac Jones, you know,
okay,
um, they're on the best team. They got the best players around them. Mind you, they're playing against the best competition, and they're dominating. Okay. But when I say potential, like look at Matt Corral for a reference.
all
Okay.
right,
He played at Ole Miss. All right. Ole
right,
Miss is not Alabama as far as what he was surrounded with talent wise. But
right.
if you get somebody that sits down and looks at, like you say, look at his measurables, you know, look at his release, look at how he reads defenses, look at how he throws the ball, how his pocket presence is, the potential may be there if he's put in the right situation. And I'm a big proponent of the right situation. You can take a player with great potential and ruin them out the gate if they're put in a bad situation,
That does
i.e.
that
Sam
does play.
Darnold.
Yes, that does play a major part in it. That does play a major
Hmm.
part in it. You have to be put in the right position. But just to piggyback off of what you just said about Matt Corral, even though he didn't play at Alabama, Matt Corral was a 2-year starter in the SEC. And if you go back and look at his numbers from his sophomore year, he didn't start every game, but his junior
Hmm.
and his senior year, it was a steady improvement each year that he with more playing time came more improvement. Now his numbers dropped off as far as yardage and total completions between his senior and junior year, but he cut down on the interceptions, and his completion percentage in both years were at least 70%.
So
You
what
know,
you're saying is he has the potential to get better.
he has the potential. I think everybody has the potential to get better. So let me rephrase my saying. What I'm saying is, I think people they put too much emphasis on potential. Not saying that a person can't have doesn't have the potential to get better, because that's all of them. Even if you're a 10-year veteran, you always have potential to get better at your craft. You know what I'm saying? But the way that they talk about these guys and hype these guys up, I think they build them up so high to where they don't even reach that potential, and now they have a reason to tear them down. That's
Well,
just
you know
my
what?
opinion.
And to this sometimes too, I think that when people are saying, oh, they got, so much more potential to grow, you know, I think that has a lot to do with the talent, that's around them when they're in college. You know, you get quarterbacks that scramble, make throws, this, and that, and the third. But you got your receivers, you got your running backs out there making these catches and stuff, making that quarterback look good too. You never know. That might
Right.
have been a ball that if that receiver hadn't have gone up, made a spectacular catch, or adjusted in mid route, did this or whatever, they may not have made that play. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just it's a lot of it's a lot of factors in it. You know what I mean? Think about Patrick Mahomes. Now he came from Texas Tech. Okay,
Okay.
we all knew about Patrick Mahomes. I seen him play, but did
Hmm.
I think that he would turn out to be like this? Not really. But
I didn't.
somebody that knew what they were doing when they were scouting and looking at Patrick Mahomes, ready to draft him, they knew what they were looking for, and he had he like I said, he had the potential to fulfill all those things that they saw in him.
But that's like what you said earlier. He went to the perfect situation, and he playing for one of the best offensive minds in league history in Andy Reid. He went he went he was drafted by a quarterback guru. Not every offensive quarter not every I'm sorry, not every offensive coordinator is a is quarterback friendly. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I got
they don't have the quarterback play in mind, or his growth in mind. It's just like the difference of playing for Sean McVay as to playing for Dennis Allen of the Saints this year. Dennis Allen is the head coach, but he comes from a defensive background. Sean McVay is an offensive minded player. Offensive minded coach. Just like Kyle Shanahan at San Francisco. If you go play for Kyle Shanahan, you best believe 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be a pretty good quarterback because he know how to take and develop quarterbacks personally. You know what I'm saying? Not every
yeah, I
offensive
got you.
coordinator can do that. And it's besides Patrick Mahomes. And even though I never agree with him being a first round pick because I didn't see that in him in Texas Tech, because when he was at Texas Tech, he didn't have the receivers to really throw to like that. So I didn't see the high completion percentages and stuff out of him, and the things that you see now with him playing with Kansas City. I tell you somebody else that fall into that category, like Josh Allen when he came out of Wyoming.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to give me a break right
The
there. I was gonna throw him in there too.
Yeah, the big thing that people always said about Josh Allen was how big his arm was, which to me is another thing that's overrated. But I'll touch on that at another point. But one thing I can say about Josh Allen, and to me, he's like the exception to the norm because he went to a team whose head coach Sean McDermott is a defensive coordinator, but he had an offensive coordinator at the time that really took him and honed his skills, and took those he took the lessons that his quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator and them were trying to give him, and he became better at them. Like you over the past 3 or 4 years, you consistently see Josh Allen get better and better as a quarterback. He still got that bullet of an arm. He still can throw the ball in tight spaces and windows that most people can't. He can still hum it down the field, but he knows how to throw it better with better touch now. He knows how to throw with better placement. He know how to throw with anticipation, and he has the talent around him to show that off. Not
Yeah, I was
everybody,
gonna mention that too.
not everybody has it. Not everybody has that. Not everybody has that desire to want to even get better. That's just my opinion. I don't think everybody um has the same focus and determination to maximize their talent. And then also some people, what you see is just what you get. Some people have already hit their ceiling. You know what I'm saying? Some people are only going to be as good as what they are now. Not even talking about what they might be 5 or 10 years from now. I'm talking about right now.
Yeah,
That's just
but you
my
know what?
opinion.
I've always said this too. Certain people are good in certain situations. You got a
Hmm.
lot of players in this league where, even one for Carolina recently, Josh Norman. He was perfect
Okay.
in that defense. He was perfect, running that cover too. Okay. He
Yeah.
wasn't a particular, he wasn't man coverage all the time. Okay. He made plays. He was in the right scheme that fit him. He
He's a
left and
zone.
hadn't really heard anything from
He's
him
a
since.
zone. He's a zone cover corner. He's not a
It,
press man. He's not a press man, or he's not a press corner. Josh Norman flourishes in a zone coverage.
Mhm. And going back to Josh Allen, you know, he had time to grow. But what they did with him, they kept surrounding him with talent. They kept building their offensive line.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So once he got his skills honed in, he has the talent around him now. He has the protection. He
Yeah.
has the schemes that he knows when to throw. He knows when to run. I mean, because Josh Allen will take off on you in a heartbeat. I had him as my
Won't he?
quarterback in my fantasy league last year, and he will
Won't
get it.
he? Yes, he
He
will. And
will
let
get it.
you and lay that wood to you too.
But just think about like our current quarterback Sam Darnold, for instance. I think he had the potential with him, but he went to the Jets, and they did nothing for him.
Nothing.
For 3 years, nothing for him. You know,
Nothing.
and so
I'm
we'll
glad.
see how
I'm
this
glad
all
to hear
turn out.
somebody say that.
Yeah, I mean they didn't. They did nothing for him. You know,
Nothing.
but
Exactly.
hopefully this is the start, of Carolina getting into that, whether Sam is the quarterback next year or not, you
Right.
know, just say Matt sits behind him this year and learns. Maybe he
Yeah.
takes over next year. Maybe they decide they don't want to go with Sam next year. Maybe they give the starting job to the Matt Corral. But by that point, maybe the addition of Icky on the offensive line, maybe that will start that process of, because I think Sam had the weapons around him as far as if you have a healthy Christian McCaffrey. I think we had a good receiving core. I think we had a pretty good defense. You know, but I think where he met his match was protection. And once they got to him, it was a wrap. So hopefully this is the start of them building a better offensive line, with the first pick, Icky, and then get a quarterback. So hopefully we
Yeah.
can build on that. But I think, like I said, it's got to be the right situation. Corral has to have the right pieces around him. I think it would be dumb to throw him out there this year and say, "Hey, go ahead and start." Like even Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He sure did. He sure
Now,
did.
Josh Allen, he was just, he was the guy up there in Buffalo. But he took it, he
Yeah.
ran with it, he improved, and now look at him. But hopefully Corral can learn this year, and if he's given the reins, given the starting job, hopefully he can continue to improve.
Yeah. But me and you had this conversation about a couple weeks ago, and I said to you, I don't care who the quarterback is. If you don't have an O line to protect you, there's nothing. you can do. Period. Point blank. Period.
Exactly.
When Tom Brady played his last year in New England, the offensive line sucked, and Tom got the hell out of there. And out of all the teams that he had his choice to go to, he went to a team that had bona fide wide receivers and they had an
Mhm.
offensive line. You know what I'm
They
saying?
sure
Because he
did. Only
knew,
thing they were missing was Tristan Wirfs, and they drafted him,
and they
and he ended
drafted
up
him
starting the whole rookie season.
the whole rookie season. So I people can say what they want to say and feel how they want to feel. But the facts is, if you don't have no one to protect you, I don't care if you Tom Brady or Gandhi playing quarterback. They will eat your lunch. There's
Not
nothing you
Gandhi.
can do unless unless you got the right protection. You can't do anything. So when you look at Sam Darnold and you talk about what he went through last year, not only did the line suck, but then your top offensive threat goes down in week 3. So not only do you have a line that sucks and your top offensive weapon, your running back, go down. So now you left with a rookie running back who at first was just trying to figure out how to get his legs up under him. I mean, I don't know what people expected him to do. Like nobody could have came and saved Carolina at that point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
got you.
that's just my thought on that. So I don't want to get off on a tangent. So let's get back to the draft picks. So in the fourth round, 120th overall, we took linebacker Brandon Smith out of Penn State. 6'4", 250 pounds, running 4.52 in the 40, had a 37.5-inch vertical jump, 128-inch broad jump. Now, Brandon is a former 5-star recruit, 2-year starter who received all Big Ten Conference honorable mention. He has impressive height, weight, and speed numbers. His college tape didn't really match the potential and the accolades that came with him, but he plays with good bend for a blitz and outside linebacker. Um, I think he has the height and speed to match up with tight ends and coverage, especially playing the will linebacker position. And I hope that he takes his physicality to the next level because being 6'4", 250, I thought I would see more dominant tackling, when I watched tape of him, but I saw a lot of arm tackling and even missed tackles at that. So I just hope that Phil Snow and them guys can tap into all that talent and get something more productive out of him.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a project. You know, I don't think he's going to stand out and contribute. Year one. But
Right.
I'm still throwing the P word around. I think he just like all of our draft picks. I think they have potential. Now there are some
Right.
draft picks where it's just like, why did we even draft this person? But I can say this with all of ours. They got potential. And like
Yeah.
you said, his tape didn't really jump out at you. It didn't say, yeah, and sometimes I'm like, was he really worth a fourth round pick? But again, the P word. We'll see. We'll see what we get out of him.
Like I understand the pick now. I was just hoping in the fourth round, I was like, let's go back and get another offensive lineman. That was my thinking. I thought we could have got another
Yes,
offensive
yes,
lineman in the fourth round. I'm like, with the first two picks, you got what you wanted. You wanted an offensive tackle, you got him. Then you wanted another quarterback, you got him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, let's go back to the offensive line. I understand the pick. at linebacker because uh what's your boy name? I can't remember his name. The left and went he just signed with Buffalo um this offseason.
Carter.
Jermaine Carter, yeah. So to me that's an upgrade over Jermaine Carter. Just based off of measurables alone. Because I was never a big fan of Jermaine Carter. And then by Hassan Reddick leaving, you know, going to Philadelphia. So, I understand that at the linebacker position they kind of thin right now. So I get it.
Yeah, I can't lie. I liked Jermaine Carter when he wasn't starting because when he got in the game, he showed flashes, and when he would fill in, somebody was injured. He did okay, but once he got in that starting role, it was a different story. Like I said, you
Yeah.
could see it. He was just lost at times. The plays going one way, he going the other way. Tight ends were just juking him out his cleats left and right. Yeah,
Yeah, he
but
was he was horrible in pass coverage.
yes, he was. He was Charles
Horrible.
Barkley terrible.
Yeah. Okay, so in the sixth round, the 189th overall pick, we selected defensive end Amari Barno out of Virginia Tech. 6'5", 246 pounds, ran a 4.36 40-yard dash. Let me say that again.
He ran a
He ran
what?
a 4.36 40-yard dash at 6'5", 246 pounds.
Three.
37-inch vertical jump and 131-inch broad jump. He has the rare speed for a defensive end. Matter of fact, fastest at the combine. If I'm not mistaken, that's the fastest time ever for a defensive end at the combine.
Was it was the fastest for a defensive lineman since 2003, but I don't know what that time was or who that defensive lineman was.
Yeah, me neither. He's kind of thinly built player. Definitely need to add some weight at the next level. He can definitely provide immediate help on special teams and provide some added depth at the defensive end position. Now he's definitely a project player, but here we go with that word again. Great upside.
No, 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 no. That ain't the word. Go ahead and say it.
No, I refuse. I'm not.
Go ahead.
I'm
I'll
not.
say it for you.
My word
Potential.
is great. My word is great upside. I'm sticking to it. Great upside. So I just like to see. I mean, when you talk about somebody running a 4.36 and at 265, 246 pounds, I mean that's pressure. That's pressure. So if he can really take that and build on it, put on I would say a good another because he's thinly built right now. So, he got room, in my opinion, where he could put on another 10, maybe 15 pounds
Hmm.
and can keep that speed around, say he run a 4.45. I mean, hell, that's still getting it off the end. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
it sure is. This is one I'm really intrigued to see because you know if they work on his game, work on his
Yeah.
craft, I would love to see him come in third and long, and you pinning your ears back, you sending the blitz. Could you
Him on
imagine?
him on one end and Marquise Haynes on the other. Ooh,
Or Brian Burns?
yeah.
Could you imagine both of those come flying off the corner, going towards the
Pressure.
quarterback? Yeah, pressure.
Pressure.
You know.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, like I said, they're going to have to work with him, put some weight on him. But if but they don't need to. I don't think they need to bulk him up too much because you don't want to lose any of that speed. But even though, like you said, even if he gets down to like a 4.4, I mean that's still fast as everything
Yeah.
coming around your left or right tackle. That's
He's
that's, that's
but
going to be
he's
a problem.
another. You're right. Yeah, he may not need to bulk up a lot, but definitely needs to get stronger. And I would like to definitely see him finish his tackles better. he was another one when I went back and watched some of his tape. He tackled a lot with his arms. You know what I'm saying? You rarely saw him like just smash somebody up, or run through
Yeah.
a defender. It was always,
Hmm.
reaching out with his arms, tackling them around the ankles or the thigh area, stuff like that. I just want to see him become more of a better finisher and a
Hmm.
more I guess you could say aggressive tackler. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
punish somebody. You know,
Hmm.
yeah.
But you know
So
what's going to be a factor in that too
what's
is
that?
our interior of the defensive line,
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
that's been an issue. Um, like Derek Brown needs a running mate. You know,
yeah,
he needs a running mate in the interior, because you had Reddick, you had Burns coming off the edges last year. That's all well and good when the interior linemen can hold their own and keep that pocket from opening up in the middle. When the opposing quarterback has a chance to step up and just kind of, step up past the pressure coming from the edges, it's
yeah,
usually an issue, you know. But if Derek Brown and whoever's in there with him this coming up year can can hold the inside to where the quarterback has no room to step up, and they have to go left and right. And hopefully if they go left, there's Brian Burns. Hopefully they go right, there's a combination of maybe this young man, Gross Matos, Marquise Haynes, whoever.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think I can't wait to see what the defense is going to turn out this year, and I can't wait to see what else Carolina do with the free agency and things like that, and hopefully we can grow and match. I'll say match the overall numbers last year because we finished as the number two ranked defense in the NFL, but we sucked in the red zone
Hmm.
efficiency, and it was something else I can't remember, but it was like two categories where we ranked like 25th or below. Which if you can't stop nobody in the red zone, that means you're giving up points. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's go to our next sixth round draft pick, which was the 199th overall pick. Offensive lineman Cade Mays out of Tennessee. 6'5", 315 pounds. Ran a 5.24 40-yard dash with a 26-inch vertical jump and 102-inch broad jump. He's a former five-star recruit out of Tennessee. Was Mr. Football his junior and senior year in high school. And his senior year, he was a top-rated offensive lineman coming out of high school. Played 2 years at Georgia before transferring to Tennessee. He was also the SEC All Fresh. He made the SEC All Freshman team. Very versatile lineman with experience at all five positions, needs to find a way to stay healthy in order to have success. But he has the potential to eventually be a starter in 2 to 3 years. Um,
You
and
said the P
and my
word.
huh?
You said the P word. I just want to point that out.
Yeah, whatever. But yes, I did say he has the potential to eventually be a starter in 2 3 years. To me, K Mays is my surprise, my happy surprise pick that we got this year, because I remember when he came out of high school when he was the top rated offensive lineman. It was like everybody was clamoring to sign him. And he went to Georgia, and for some reason I didn't know that he had transferred to Tennessee. And the reason why he did, because his father lost part of his finger on the recruiting visit at Georgia. And I guess it maybe took like a couple years for the thing to go to court or to settle or whatnot. But when he did decide to take Georgia to court, then K Mays Cade decided to transfer to Tennessee, and he played his last 2 years at Tennessee. But he is a really good offensive tackle, especially right tackle, right guard. I know he played some at center, but I think I like his right tackle tape better than I did his right guard tape or even playing center. But he's a versatile lineman that can come in and that can be a quality backup to Taylor Moton and whoever plays that right guard position if he doesn't step into it himself. I mean, I think he has the potential to show, improve, and hold his own. And you never know. He could slide into that right guard position. I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
Yeah, man. My only reservation with him is it's not his potential, you know. But I just hope that they
Shade.
don't. Yeah, yeah, a lot of shade. I hope that they narrow it down to one or two spots that they think they'll want him at and focus on that. I really hope they don't, just sit there the whole preseason training camp and everything and just put him in every spot all the time. I think
Like
that's
they
what they
did
kind of
Brady
messed up.
Christensen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. My thing is, if you wanted to put the man at guard, put the man at guard and leave him there. If you wanted to put him at left tackle, put him at left tackle and leave him there. Now, there's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with flexibility. There's nothing wrong at being able to play more than one position. But there's been cases where you can spread yourself thin. I don't want them to turn him into an experiment that lasts this season and next season. Like, get that man a spot, or get him a side of the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
And say,
exactly what I
okay,
was
you
getting
gonna
ready to say. That's exactly what I was getting ready to say.
yeah,
Yeah.
give him the left side, give him the right side. Put him at
Yeah.
guard, put him at tackle. See which one he does best. Um when you get it figured out where he fits in better, lock that man in and let that man get reps. Okay?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
saying that he shouldn't be versatile, but he needs to focus on something, because it's always good, you got your buddy next to you that goes down, but just say, he would have you get what I'm trying to say. He
No,
gets somebody
yeah.
that goes down, he can slide to that position in the line, and then somebody else can fill in,
Yep.
depending on the need. But yeah, I
Yeah,
just
I'm
I
with
just
you.
hope it's not Brady Christensen all over again.
Right. I'm definitely with you on that. But I love me some K Mays, and I'm excited to see uh what Carolina end up doing with him. So let's move on to the seventh round pick, which is the 242nd overall pick. Cornerback Kalen Barnes out of Baylor, 6 feet, 185 pounds, ran a 4.23 40-yard dash. Let me repeat that again. A 4.23 40-yard dash. Fastest time for a DB in combine history. But a lot of people don't know Kalen was a two-time state champion in Texas in the 100 and 200-meter dash his junior and senior year in high school. And he played receiver. He played wide receiver in high school and made the switch to DB his freshman year at Baylor. He's a 2-year starter at Baylor, productive, but still needs to stay injury free. He also needs time to develop into a more complete DB, but he has the heart and the speed that you can't teach. Great,
Hmm.
in my opinion, he's a great immediate special teamer.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
I followed Kalen because of course my wife is a Baylor graduate, so I know about those players that come out of Baylor. Um, he does, like I said, he can run with anybody. He does have good measurables. 6 feet, 185 pounds. And you do want to see um him refine, become more refined as a defensive back. Now, he's somebody that I would definitely put the word potential or a high ceiling on, because with him, you talking about somebody that didn't play DB until he got to college. And the reason why he switched to defensive back, because it would have been harder for him to break into the wide receiver lineup and easy for him to get on the playing field if he made a switch to DB, and that's what he did. Now, just in 2 or 3 years, you don't really know fully what you may get with him as being a defensive back. But the one thing that you know that you're gonna get somebody that's hella fast. You know what I'm saying? Cause
Hmm.
there's no DB in the league that's ever ran as fast as he runs. You know what I'm saying? And he brings something to the table that you can't coach, and that's speed on top of speed. So if
Yeah.
everything else can be refined and he can be taught the right way, and I believe he can, because why? We have Steve Wilkes now. Steve Wilkes is back in Carolina, and he's taking back over the defensive backs. He's somebody that um I would trust to coach Kalen Barnes in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Hmm.
think that's a good fit for him to be in. But don't be surprised what you may see from this kid in a couple years. But I think he's going to be a lot better. I think he's going to be a lot better than what people may think.
Yeah. I mean, you can see it in his tape. I mean, he's glued to wide receivers. I mean, he's literally in their hip pocket. And it doesn't hurt that he has experience being a wide receiver. So that will help when he has a chance to make an interception. But like you said, Steve Wilkes, that will be key to his development because he can have all the speed in the world. Somebody that runs really, really good routes, in and out of their breaks, know what they're doing. And
Yeah,
that trump speed on a lot of occasions.
that
But
recovery
if
speed.
yeah, he definitely has the recovery speed. But if he can get if he can get him and what's the word I'm looking for? If he can develop his skills, kind of like JC Horn, you see him back up, come out of a break, go left and right. He's got the form, you know.
Right.
If Kalen can get the form down, he can get his hips in place. He can come out of the break. Like you said, if he mess up, he does have recovery speed because he is fast. Like he is grease lightning fast. But like you said, he definitely has the potential. He has the potential, but they got to work with him and they got to get him right.
Yeah, I agree with that. So overall, I like our draft picks. I think we had a pretty good draft. Um, like I said, the only two picks that I do kind of question, that I did kind of question, that I wish that we went into a different direction, was the Brandon Smith and the Mari Barno selections. I understand the picks, don't get me wrong, and I see the potential that could be there. But I just think, especially with I think it was Amari Barno, before the Amari Barno pick, my sleeper pick in the draft, who I really liked, was Malcolm Rodriguez, the linebacker out of Oklahoma State. He went 188th, and I believe that was one pick before we took Amari Barno. That's who I was hoping was going to fall to Carolina. I think I mentioned that to you a couple weeks ago. I was like, watch
Yeah, you
out
did.
for Malcolm Rodriguez, because I believe he's gonna be a sleeper pick. But other than that, with only 6 picks and we didn't have a pick in the second round or the third round, and then we traded back into the third round, it cost us a third round, a fourth round. I think it was the fourth round pick next year to get back into the third round this year, if I'm not mistaken. But I think the Matt Corral pick was still a good pick, and I for the value for him to even still be there in the third round when most teams had him as a late first round, early second round pick, I think that was a great value pick. So overall, I'm happy with the draft. Um, I just want to see us continue to get better as we go forward and get ready for free agency. I definitely want to see what we're going to do in free agency because there's definitely some things that we need to tackle in free agency. I would definitely like to see us continue to get maybe two or three more offensive linemen because I just feel like all them offensive linemen that we had last year, except Taylor Moton and maybe Brady Christensen, all of them need to be replaced.
Yeah, for real.
You know, throw it all out with the bath water. You know what I'm saying? Throw them all out with the
Exactly.
bath water.
Exactly. Well, I'm happy with the draft too, and you know what? And I go back to the Brandon Smith pick. You know, maybe Scott Fitterer knows something we don't know because they traded up because we had the 144th and the 149th pick, and so they traded up to 120 to get Brandon Smith. You know,
Yeah,
so you know, just maybe, you know, maybe there's something more to that that we don't know. You know, because we can sit here and talk about it all day long, but those are the people that get paid to do this. So we shall
yep,
see. You know,
that
we
is
shall
true.
see.
That is true, my friend. Well, okay. Well, thank you everybody. Thank you for listening to us. That was the 2022 Carolina Panther draft picks. And again, we'll see how it all unfolds.
Yes, and everybody make sure you tune in next time to hear Tony say potential again. Thank you for listening to Two Fans in the Stands podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and listen to us on your favorite podcast apps such as Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Tune in next week for another episode.